around each of the 3 airbags on the lateral. Discover all these fun new details because there's literally max air.
We were staying in Paris to get away from your parents. And I thought, wow, if I could.
That's welcome, Sean.
It's very creative.
Yeah.
Will Battle Nick get an upgrade?
Yeah,
Let's take this out of here. Oh,
yeah, still care about
there we go. Some chewing gum in there.
Yeah.
Will Battle Nick get an upgrade? Yes. Battle Nick got a big upgrade from Battle Knit 1 to 2.0. We are now the strongest knit we've ever made. We introduced high tenacity yarn and actually an entirely new process to build this knit, entirely new machines. And it's a combination of woven and knit. So it's strong, it's comfortable, it's pliable, and it's an entirely new expression for not only for LeBron, but for Nike as a whole. Brand new process, brand new material. Yeah. It took a while because we had to engineer it for LeBron. I think fly print, if applicable, if that's something we could get a benefit for LeBron, it's absolutely on the table. Is there any change on the midsole? Let's do that. Peel that bad boy off. Get this midsole change.
So we can see it looks like the same to the LeBron 15. Is there any change?
Yes, there are some changes. We're utilizing the same airbag itself, but the changes really come to the ecosystem around the airbag. What we've done is really a couple things. One, we've tried to improve the traction, so you get better bite underfoot. 2, we've tried to improve the stability by adding outriggers around each of the 3 airbags on the lateral side to just give you a wider base of support. And then we've also tried to make it a little bit more flexible by removing some rubber in the 4-foot flex groove, introducing a little bit of a transverse flex groove up there, just to free up a little bit of that toe off, see if we can give them a little bit more snap in the steps. So trying to make it a quicker system. Well, that was a big change at the time. We had that new airbag, which was really cool. Actually, before we decided to go to the airbag, it was the conversation. Do we go Air Max or do we stay Zoom? I was just talking about this with one of the designers the other day of an old shoe, and he reminded me that I was against Air Max at the beginning, only because the Zoom was what, with the LeBron 2 and the 3 and the 4, it's what he had kind of built. But when I saw the new airbag, I was like, oh no, okay, that's what we need to, the expression was so crazy. It had 80% more air than traditional airbags or something like that. So it was automatic once we actually saw the bag. But in theory, at first, it was a little bit scary. And I have to admit that I wasn't there initially, but once we saw the sample, or once we saw that first airbag, then I was full speed ahead. Next question. Let's see, could we see new tech?
Yeah, could we see new tech on the LeBron 16? The LeBron series is a benchmark shoe.
Yeah. So we're utilizing all of our newest technology in this shoe, as we do with every LeBron. The Air Max unit is our most cutting edge air unit that we have for him available. The Battle Knit is built specifically for LeBron. And that is, again, our newest, most cutting edge knit technology that we had at the time. And then we also tried to add in some, I like to call them in-between innovations that can innovate on things like fit. So you'll start looking at the gusseted tongue on this shoe that allow a very different expression for how you wear it and how you interact with the shoe. But it's also an innovation because it will now make the shoe easier to get into for more folks, more wearable off court in some respects. So that's it's not as big performance-wise as, say, an airbag, but it's still an important innovation. And LeBron is he's kind of our leader for innovation, and we want to make sure that he stays right on the forefront of that. Let's see, more lightweighted.
Yeah, I think it's a question what the fans, they really care
about the weight of the shoes, and that's important. It's important to LeBron as well. And what we try to focus on is the right weight for the shoe. LeBron is obviously got a big frame, and so he's going to need a little bit more support and containment than somebody who's smaller. But what we try to do is whittle away as much as we can, where we can, without making the shoe feel a way that LeBron doesn't like. So sometimes something like the LeBron 11 is crazy light because of the way that we built it, and we really wanted to focus on that, what he's asking for. Because if he's asking for a super high top shoe, it's going to be a little heavier. But he's asking for a little lower now, so that helps us get a little lighter, and he's okay with that. Yeah, and so let's peel this last piece off, and the tongue gets separated, and so there's a new entry system on this shoe. With the 15, it was all knit, and you kind of had a stretch booty system. Worked great, felt great. LeBron loved it. I think what we wanted to do was how do we push that forward? A lot of people have done booties. You see them out there. We wanted to not stand still. How do we create a new expression and provide a new benefit? So with the gusseted tongue, a tongue that actually opens and closes kind of on itself without having to have an internal layer. You've now reduced layers in the shoe, so you're not stacking all this material on each other, so you can still fit close to the foot like a knit shoe should, but now you get the adaptability of kind of having a tongue like an old school shoe. So now you can, if maybe you have a wider foot or maybe you don't like the way a booty feels, you can get in and wear it traditionally.
Easy folds into putting this.
Right, and you're still going to get the level of support that you need. And then I think when you look off the court, it allows you to style it differently, and you can stack your pants on it differently, or you can pop it and undo the laces. And we're doing some things with the graphics on the tongue and how you lace the shoe that will allow you to show that off in different ways. Yeah, there'll always be a crazy kid somewhere along the way, you know, in one of these things that like has a pair of shoes that we totally forgot about. You know, like the sneaker culture is so strong over here. Yeah, it's that same meeting where we showed him the 7 for the first time. I came in not knowing he could have kicked me out of the room and said, send somebody else in. And instead, we left the room with a charge to go forward and make this shoe. And now you're going to be the guy that is piloting my line. Thank you.
It's like the moment where Tinker.
We were staying